Have you ever wondered how we could erupt Olympus Mons, the largest volcano in the solar system located on Mars? Let's take a moment to appreciate the massive scale of Olympus Mons. Towering at nearly 13 miles high and spanning across a staggering 372 miles in diameter, this volcano is about 3 times the height of Mount Everest, Earth's tallest peak. Olympus Mons is so large, in fact, that it covers an area comparable to the size of Arizona. Yet, despite its impressive size, Olympus Mons is currently sleeping. It's a dormant volcano, which means it hasn't erupted in a very long time. Some scientists believe it's been millions of years since the last eruption, while others suggest it may have been as recent as 2 million years ago. Regardless, Olympus Mons is currently quiet and, dare we say, peaceful. But what would it take to awaken this sleeping giant? To understand that, we need to delve a bit into its geology. Olympus Mons is a shield volcano, which, much like the Hawaiian volcanoes here on Earth, is characterized by its broad, shield-like shape and gentle slopes. These are formed by highly fluid lava flows that spread out in all directions. Now here's where things get interesting. To trigger an eruption, immense geological forces are needed. These forces typically come from the movement and interaction of tectonic plates, the giant pieces of the Earth's crust. But Mars doesn't have tectonic plates like Earth. Its crust is essentially one solid piece. So without these natural forces at play, triggering an eruption at Olympus Mons would be a colossal task. Now that you know about Olympus Mons, imagine the immense power it would take to wake this sleeping giant. Let's delve into the realm of speculation and imagine how we might trigger an eruption on Olympus Mons. Picture this. We're on Mars, standing at the base of Olympus Mons, the tallest volcano in our solar system. It's a dormant giant, but we're about to wake it up. Now, how could we do that? Well, we could start by drilling into the Martian surface right near the base of Olympus Mons. Imagine a drill bit, long and strong, boring into the red soil, piercing through layers of rock and dust that have lain undisturbed for eons. As we drill deeper, we'd eventually reach the magma chamber beneath the volcano. This is where things get interesting. This magma chamber is a vast reservoir of molten rock, the lifeblood of Olympus Mons. But for now, it's dormant, sleeping. We want to wake it up, so we inject pressurized fluids or gases into the chamber. Think of this like blowing air into a balloon. The more air you blow in, the more the balloon expands. The same principle applies here. By injecting pressurized fluids or gases, we're increasing the pressure within the magma chamber. The magma, feeling this pressure, becomes destabilized. And then, the moment we've been waiting for. The pressure becomes too much. The magma, once dormant, is now awake and it wants out. It forces its way up through the volcano, racing towards the surface. And then, with an incredible display of power, Olympus Mons erupts. So, in theory, we could trigger an eruption. But should we? And what would be the repercussions? In the next scene, we'll explore the ethical and environmental considerations of such a monumental feat. But for now, let's savor the image of Olympus Mons, the sleeping giant, awakened and roaring with life. The idea of triggering an eruption on Mars isn't just a question of feasibility, but also of ethics and environmental impact. We live in an era where the exploration of space is no longer confined to the realms of science fiction. As we set our sights on distant worlds, we also carry the weight of responsibility for our actions. The hypothetical eruption of Olympus Mons, the largest volcano in our solar system located on Mars, presents us with an ethical conundrum. On one hand, the scientific curiosity to understand the inner workings of Mars's geology could yield unprecedented insights. It could potentially revolutionize our understanding of the red planet, and perhaps even shed light on the origins of our own planet. On the other hand, we must also consider the potential risks and consequences of such an action. Mars, although seemingly barren and inhospitable, is a world of its own. Triggering an artificial eruption could potentially disrupt the Martian environment in ways we cannot yet fully comprehend. It could impact future human exploration and even colonization efforts. Moreover, what if Mars, in its quiet solitude, harbors life? Even if it is microbial, it is life nonetheless. Deliberately inducing an eruption could potentially wipe out these Martian life forms, extinguishing an alien form of life before we even have the chance to understand it. And what about the potential environmental impact on Mars itself? An eruption of Olympus Mons would release vast amounts of volcanic gases and ash, potentially transforming the Martian atmosphere and landscape. This could have far-reaching implications for the planet's climate and any future missions, robotic or human, to Mars. In the grand scheme of things, we must tread carefully. the exploration of other celestial bodies should be conducted responsibly, with a deep respect for the unknown and the potential life that might exist there. We have to ask ourselves, would the scientific gains outweigh the potential damage? The answer to that question may not be as clear-cut as we would like it to be, but it is a conversation that we must have as we continue our journey into the cosmos. Any attempt to artificially trigger an eruption on Mars would require careful scientific assessment and international collaboration. The idea of inducing an eruption on Olympus Mons, while fascinating, is not a simple one. It's a concept that would require not just monumental geological forces, but also a monumental amount of scientific assessment. We would need to fully understand the Martian surface, the composition and stability of Olympus Mons, and the potential effects of such an eruption on the Martian environment. But it's not just about the science, it's also about the dialogue, the discussion, the collaboration. This endeavor would not and should not be a decision made by one person, one team, or even one nation. It would require international collaboration on a scale we haven't seen since the International Space Station. Why? Because we're not just talking about a geological event. We're talking about an event that would change the face of another planet. That's not something to be taken lightly. It's a responsibility that weighs heavily on our shoulders as a species. With the power to alter a celestial body comes the duty to do so ethically and responsibly. And that brings us to the crux of the matter. This is about more than just curiosity and scientific discovery. It's about responsible and ethical conduct in space exploration. It's about recognizing that our actions in space have consequences, not just for us, but for the cosmos as a whole. We're living in an era where space exploration is becoming more accessible. More countries, more companies, and more individuals are reaching for the stars. And with this access comes great responsibility. The grandeur of Olympus Mons, and of Mars itself, is a stern reminder of our place in the cosmos. While it's intriguing to imagine what might happen, the reality reminds us of our responsibility to explore with care and respect for the celestial bodies that share our solar system. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring that notification bell.